till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters, and we ain't got nothing to hide.
What up? What up? What is up? Welcome into Pregaming here on Sports Money. Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Rain, sleet, or snow, we stay ready to fucking go. Big night last night. Hope you guys made some cash. I am off site today, so I'm making some adjustments. Bear with me. We'll see if we can't get this right. See if we can't fix this. There we go. That's a little bit better. How's everyone's Friday going? TGIFF. We've made it. Toucan likes the intro. Does remind me of Ballers, doesn't it? Appreciate you guys all coming in here. Like I said, bear with me today off site, but it is Friday. We are ready to go. We have a big card in front of us here. Not the widest games on the slate, but a lot of plays for us to get to the window with out there. We got Major League Baseball. We'll cover 4. I think I've got 5, actually. 5 plays now in Major League Baseball. One of them not on the screen. We'll cover Kansas City, Baltimore. That'll pop off at 7 o'clock. So we got plenty of time. We're not in any rush to try to squeeze these games in. Cleveland, Toronto will get involved north of the border. We'll talk Oakland and Minnesota. I'm sorry, Miami. Excuse me. Excuse me. Well, I'm like, wait a minute. They're not playing Minnesota. Got nice little 3-leg parlay. It's around a plus 187 on this mofo. We're going to cover this Seoul NHL game, Winnipeg and St. Louis. And we'll finish her up with Houston and Golden State. See if Golden State can finish up these Houston Rockets. You know, we're going to leverage trends, angles, cash flow splits, all that line movement and everything else that goes into it to try to come up with winning plays. And of course, it's Friday. You know what that means. We're going to bring our guy back, Andrew Babakitis from the Superbook out there in Las Vegas, the risk manager for the UFC. We're going to talk some combat and where the liability stands for the casino on Saturday. A big UFC Des Moines. They're out in Iowa. They love wrestling in Iowa. And speaking of the UFC, you guys know the deal. We've got plenty of action out there for you guys to get ready with. We've got VB MMA and Ramon Scott popping off. They did their show on Tuesday. The First Strike show got put out there on Wednesday. 6 plays collectively between those 2 shows for you guys to get involved with early. The UFC playbook has been updated and will continue to update through the evening and into tomorrow. Yeah, we got the Derby early tomorrow. So you guys got to pace yourselves. It's going to be a late Saturday night stream. I think we start at 6:45-ish, give or take. They'll punch each other in the face starting around 7:15. And we'll go probably right through, 1:30, I think is around the last fight. That's the last fight on the card. So it's going to be a late night and a long day with the Kentucky Derby. So pace yourselves. Can't emphasize that enough. Make sure you stay hydrated so that we can dehydrate all evening. Hopefully my internet's hanging in here. Looks like it's okay right now. Seems a little laggy for me, but that's okay. Let's see what's going on. Ready, set, and we're going to rock and roll here. We've got a little recap. We'll get into that first. Then we'll talk about these games. I'm going to hydrate so that I can dehydrate tonight. And then we'll bring in Andrew and wrap this show up. They do have some boxing taking place here. We'll see if there's any boxing information that can be shared for us. Vis-a-vis Times Square, Garcia, Romero. And I think they pop off around 9 o'clock, I want to say. I got to double check. Matter of fact, I should probably pull that up right now so that we can be ready to address. There's plenty of boxing action tonight, too. So if you're a combat fan, it's going to be a fun weekend. See where we can get. Yeah, the last fight is 9 p.m. It's outdoors, too. Pretty cool if you haven't checked it out. Turn the tube on and see what you have there. Look, we start every day with that recap. We'll talk about yesterday quickly here. And it was a smash. We went wide. I told you guys. NHL's going to tighten up. We had to open up and fire. And fire we did. We went 8-2 on show plays yesterday. Phenomenal evening. A couple of losses. Sadly, the losses hurt more than the wins. Feel good. And This Vegas Golden Knights Minnesota Wild spot. 3-2 final. Man, it was 1-1 at the end of the first period. Pull the goalie. They had about 2.5 minutes of empty net. Couldn't find a way to bury that sixth goal for us. So a 3-2 final was a loss. And then San Francisco loses again. Now 3 straight losses for this San Francisco Giants team. They lost back-to-back games against the San Diego Padres. Colorado Rockies won a game. And then they go on the road and they win another game. So very interesting, to say the least, about those 2 spots. But everything else was a smash. We crushed the under 8.5 in Toronto and Boston. Even money play, 4-2. Toronto comes back to win the game. Boston gets the first 5. Toronto gets the full game. We get the under 8.5. The New York Knickerbockers, the short pants, they fire off and win that game outright, 116-113. We had a 1.5 in our back pockets, but we did not need it. Colorado Avalanche, what did I tell you guys? The margin of victory for that game was 3. And what was the final score? 7-4. Big win out there. Minus 1.5 and plus 135 cashes with ease. Furthermore, we got that Detroit Tiger spot, them LA Angels, them righty batters. Struggle against right-handed pitchers, I should say, out there. The Tigers come to victory. That was the most juice we had in the card. It was a minus 130. And then we finished off the nightcap with a double dipper in Edmonton out there. Edmonton 6-4 final. We had the over 6. No sweat. Edmonton almost got there all on their own. And then, of course, Edmonton in regulation, they find a way to get the 2-goal victory. Easy peasy. 8-2 day. That's the way it wraps up and gets to the bank for us there. Hopefully you guys made some cash. And, of course, we had a nice little fun Thursday night live stream. It got a little rowdy. Got a little loose. Some fellas got a little upset, but it was still a lot of fun. And made some money. You know, we had, what, eight PFL fights out there for Thursday night. Nice little Thursday. Cashed a bunch of live spots across the board. Just making money. That's what we're here to do. May is starting off with a bang. That's the way we want it. 8-2 to kick off the month. Not a bad day when it comes to stacking cash and teeing her high, letting her fly. Now, we do have work to do. We got about 30 minutes to get through these plays. Talk about this extra play I added on the board. I'm down to a single monitor, so it's going to be a real difficulty to navigate this process. But before we do anything, you guys know the deal. Comments for the support. Thumbs up to let YouTube know we're here. Let's get loud. Let's bust up this algorithm. And let's get sports money on the map. You guys can help us out by simply smashing that thumbs up button. Show that support in show, post show. You guys know what's important. Comments. We want to see them comments post show. Your favorite bets, your best bet spots that you cashed with us here on the show. All the rest in the comments on YouTube. But let's kick this thing off. Let's hit this thumbs up button. And let's get rolling. Shout out to our silver and gold members. Appreciate you guys. We are viewer supported. We do want to continue to grow this thing. And if you take an opportunity for $5, you can upgrade. Get yourself a silver plan. This is the time. The weekend is here. You know, Saturday's card's going to be fire. Sunday's card. We have had a tremendous couple of weekends in a row now. So easily a way to show a little bit extra support. And we'll give you extra plays out there. Of course, you'll find Ramon Scott, 9 a.m. doing his thing. And then you get my card, my afternoon Saturday card. Going to release a Kentucky Derby card as well. I think that's only right. A lot of you guys have asked for it. I am no thoroughbred aficionado. Standardbred. Yeah. I get involved with them chariots. I like to see them buggies rolling around the field. But, hey, look, Kentucky Derby is still a lot of fun. Let's not dismiss the money that can be made out there. All kinds of ways to bet and get after it. You know the deal. Get that pen and paper ready. The best chat in the goddamn universe assembles here, and they are ready to share their best bets with you guys. We're going to run down them. Make sure you do put them in the chat. We want to continue to shout you guys out and recognize your action. And speaking of action, our guy Jover, he's going to pop off. He's going to give us the first bet of the night for the show. And he's going with an over. You know the deal. It's Jover. J-O. Popping off with us here. He's been on a heck of a run as of late. And he's going Cubs and Brewers. He's going with the Brew Crew. He's going with his hometown squad. He knows the Brewers better than anybody. And he's going to take the over. Go figure. No unders in this guy's game. If Jover gives you an under, probably don't play it. Jover. He knows what I'm talking about, but his overs have been tremendous. Baseball season's here. That's where he does it best. And he's giving you guys the Cubs and Brewers. He's giving you the over 8.5 or the 9. And he likes the even money spot for the 9. Probably not a bad look. Get involved out there. That's not a game I really went to throttle down on, but I'll tell you this, Jover. I don't like the Cubs in the first 5. I'm not going to cross out the fact that I think the Brewers can come back and win that game, but look, even it's a nice little price tag too. I think you can get around minus 105 or so to get down on that first 5. Brown and Alexander. I just don't trust in Alexander, but I think that Brew Crew bullpen and those bats can fire up the length of the game and find a way to cash it. So that was a little spot that just missed a card for me. Was the first 5 in that Cubs spot out there. But Jover's giving us the over. Shout out to Ken Wood. Ken, thanks for sharing the numbers for me. The spots that we talked about there. Basically the what's it look like if you auto play off of a win situation out there. The Colorado Rockies off a win. What do? You just fade them? Numbers might dictate you do, but not as big as the interest I thought, Ken. So that was pretty cool information. Thank you for sharing. Nicholas Handy's here. Peter Gracia. He's ready to roll. Justin McKelvey says sports money is money. Fucking right, Justin. Let's go, man. TGIF. Justin, it's good to see you. Toucan likes the Ballers intro. He says, that's what's up. Let's get it, boys. There's probably a reason why I like that. Maybe it was Ballers. That's a great show, man. If you didn't see that, if you haven't seen that out there, someone, look, The Rock, man. Some of his finest work. Good show, good stuff, good action. Lots of cameos. Lots of celebrity cameos, too. Peter Grassi is here. This is love. And then remote road show. Yeah, man, we are on the road. Like I said, I wish the camera was a little better, or my head was a little smaller. 6 in one, half a dozen in the other. Shout out to Joseph Alvarado. Our band is holding it down to sports money for life. There's Ignatius Pennyfeather the 7th says, let's go. And Ken's giving us some action, some intel. Actionable intel is probably the better way to put it out there. He says the Warriors are 10-2 after losing a playoff game by 10 or more points and winning by an average margin of 16 points. I love the margin. The margin of victory. Oh, so huge. Man, I was up super late last night, so I'm trying to rehydrate here. Trying to rehydrate with you guys. Looks like I might need a little bit more. Looks like I might need a little more water. Let's go. Big stat there, the Warriors. We'll talk about that game. I've got a play on the side. Houston trying to stave off elimination. The Warriors, though, looks like the strong look from Ken Wood. And a guy, Gerald Jones is here. He's got no best bet. Not forcing the action out there. Let's take 5. New York lottery last night. Won $977. Holy shit. Plus working $500. Nice, man. Look at you. Let's go. Let's get this cash. How about that? Tailing the Pimpin' Crew. 2.2K last night. Holy shit. Big night. It was a big night, wasn't it? It was a big night for us. Look, picking up the New York lottery. Why the hell not? Let's go. Jay Main's in the house. Joe Dub's in the house. He says, cheers, Mike. Peter Gracia. Hydrating is proper planning. We'll rip into this, see how much of this bottle of vodka I can get down tonight. You know the deal. We talked about that last night. Hopefully you guys have, maybe try it. Maybe you take the test. Maybe you take the challenge. 3 low, medium, high-grade vodkas. Put them in the freezer. Blind taste test. Someone else got to do it for you, though. There's got to be some integrity if you're going to do this thing. Someone else has got to serve them and keep it honest. Keep it accountable. See if you guys can beat the 3 frozen vodka challenge. Stop geoengineering. It's giving us good luck, blessing our action. Peter says it's all good. It was profit, and all profit is good in the betting world. Jay Main, that line move, they have to move on Nats. Suspect. They may close out the Reds tonight. Look, it's a rain delay. One of the things I'm going to try to make a better job of is not getting involved in rain delay games. If you can help, right? Sometimes it pops up, and if it's on the radar, and there's a couple of folks you can follow on Twitter to check it out, but I just don't want to get involved. I'll tell you this. Strong play for the Reds. Strong play on the Cincinnati Reds. Not just the Reds, but the run line. 7-0 on the run line of the Cincinnati Reds in a series opener as a good size favorite when the total's less than a 10. Game 1 of the series. Now, there's a couple Game 1 series factors out there, but the fade is the opposite side here. The Washington Nationals, 0-8 on the run line. Non-divisional games after a win as a road dog, and they had less than 3 extra base hits. So they sneak in a win as a dog. No one expected it, and they don't run it back, and they're losing those games by over 4 runs per game. So there's a little intel for you guys when it comes down to this game, but rain delay. And the reason I don't want to get involved in the rain delays, I know some people might feel differently about this here, though, is pitchers are a function of their routine. They have game day routines. They get involved. They get themselves going. They get up. They stretch. They loosen their arms up. And then if they get a big, lengthy delay, they got to go through that warm-up process again. So what happens now? Do you get the same longevity? Do you get the same length? I mean, if the guy's out there mowing them down, they're probably not going to take them out. But in a rain delay, do you see a guy go 7, 8, 9 innings and stand on his head? More often than not, you find out that there's a little disruption. Maybe they end up shortening it. Maybe they only go 4 innings. There's just too many variables for me to want to get involved when it comes to rain delays. But I'll give you guys that Reds number. I'll share that trend with you. I don't mind. That's what we're here for. Sharing is caring. As they say, Jay Main says that line move might get him, though. 9 Legacy says, what's a good dog parlay today? Paid in full, baby. I got a 3-legger. I got a 3-leg parlay for you guys. Peter Grassi says, yeah, good call. Knicks and Avs. It was night. And, man, again, the Senators team total under for us on the Toronto spot. All good. All good action. Peter says, I'll take 8-2 every day. Me too. Me, absolutely. Why not? Why not? That was a lot of fun. I don't know. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, we might have 8 plays today. We might have an 8-pack on deck. We'll see what our guy brings to us here. If there's any actionable intel in boxing or other spots that the books are showing liability tonight. There's Trisha M. Good cheer wins KY Oaks, huh? Kentucky Oaks. Evening, folks. I got it. I'm reading it. I'm picking up what you're putting down, Trisha M. What's up, Terry B? PFL stream was fun. Hit Davis, the last fight live for plus 420. He knocked him out a minute later. That was a fun card. It didn't start out the way I thought it would, but man, we got a couple of liners. We got a couple of big winners in there. Peter Grassi says, hit the like and comment after the show. Please do. Good business. Shout out to Gerald Jones. He's gifting a Sports Money membership. My man. Cheers to you, my friend. Thank you for helping gift and grow this thing. If you got a membership from Gerald Jones, consider paying it forward. Consider going out there, getting one on your own, supporting the squad, helping us grow this thing. Jay Main says 9 Legacy. Going with the Bucks again. I think seems some suspect also in the Nats game. I kind of like Pittsburgh. I kind of like the Pirates in that game. Old E's ready to roll here. Timmy Two Shoe says, hey, thanks for the gifted membership, Gerald Jones. Timmy Two Shoe getting the gifted membership. Shout out to you, Timmy Two Shoe. Buckle in. Consider upgrading, my friends. Silver and gold packages. Get you guys the weekend plays. You know we've been firing. I think what did we go last weekend? Was it 8-2 last weekend? And 8-3 last weekend? And I think it was, I don't remember, 8-1 maybe the weekend before that. Fire on these extra card plays out there. Peter Grassi says the Yankees in the over and the Yankees team total over going to beat up on them Tampa Bay Rays. I'll tell you what, I got a nice little trend in that spot. The Yankees are one of the legs of the parlay on the money line. Let's go. Peter Grassi likes the Red Sox money line. He's going to give us a little Red Sox action. ZC33 says, head down to the Phillies game. Phillies should put the boot to ass tonight. I think that's a good-looking spot. Pricey. The -1's not a bad look. Oldies giving Stacks the shout-out. Stacks play of the day. ZC says, 10-minute bike ride. Nice. It's not bad. Not bad at all. There's Patrick the Groovy Alien. We're not here for fun and games. We're here for butt rubbings and bangers picks from the Pimp Slap. TGIF. There's Twisted. What's up, Twisted? Hope you're doing well. He agrees, though. Says rain delays suck. I just think that it's just the sheer mathematics behind it. They warm up. They stretch that arm out. Then it tightens up. Then they're going to stretch it out again. It's too much stretching. Too much stretching. Not enough striking. Ken Wood bet the Reds -1.5 earlier this morning, though. I was close until I saw the rain delay. Nasty Nate thinks the Red Sox are going to smash. I think so. I think it's a good look. I think it's a strong look. Jay Mann says, Mike, remember that line move I spoke about on the Colorado last night? I said I saw the same move with Pip tonight or the night before. Trisha M's live in 3 doubles tomorrow, looking for Kentucky Derby to hit a price. Gerald Jones is betting some ponies tomorrow. Of course, you'll find the crew doing what they do. Our guy Razor Sharp Picks will be out there supporting the horse racing community, trying to give you guys them winners. David Wallace, what's up, my friend? What is up? Tech B's on the Phillies, Toronto, Yankees, and Orioles. Redbeard says, Nate, come on, not tonight. Twisted, Pittsburgh run line, Cubs run line, Baltimore run line, Dodgers run line. Okay. I can see it. I can see it. We're going to talk about that Baltimore spot. I can see it. J Main, Nicholas Handy likes the Reds and the O's moneyline parlay. Peter Gracia. Red Sox, 2 tough losses. Just a gut feeling. Thinks they're going to win this game. Appreciate you guys all sharing. Let's go. You know the deal here. It's time for us to get to action. I'm going to share my card. We'll talk about the splits, the line movement, some theory on the game insight. We'll bring our guy in here shortly, and we will get this thing ready for you guys to get into the weekend. No dilly-dallying necessary. We'll get you guys all the hats and the facts. Of course, get ready. Our guy, Andrew, is willing to answer any questions you guys have. I have a couple questions. So make sure you guys do drop them in the chat. I want to recognize those questions. We can ask the man himself, the guy that's setting the lines, managing the moves, monitoring the sharp betting reports. I want to talk to him a little bit about live betting. A lot of theory out there. I know we talk about this on Saturdays quite a bit, and the theory being some guys believe that it's bettors that are moving the lines live, especially in the coming UFC. I don't think so. I think it's algorithm driven. I think, yeah, maybe there's a big spot that's coming out there, but especially in the UFC, I think that the scorecards backstage, I don't know if they're in the room or not. We'll find out. We'll talk about that. But let's talk about some action here. Let's go right into the baseball card. We've got Kansas City Royals. We've got the Baltimore Orioles kicking this thing off. We're going to kick it off as well here. Getting the first play on the card. As we get into it here, we're looking across this, quite a few games. Like I said, 640 for that Padres Pirates. Diamondbacks Phillies. I like the Phillies. It's a price tag. But 705 here, we do have the Orioles getting ready, getting set. They're going to fire off. We've got some cash flow. We'll talk about the splits here. Then we'll jump in and we'll talk about the side that I'm on. I've got some trends to validate this action, supporting these moves that I want to get involved with here. And as we look at this game here, particularly, we got a lot of action coming in on the Kansas City Royals. This thing went from plus 104 to plus 123. 54% of the bets and 71% of the cash are on the Royals. There's that differential. Typically, we look at the percentage of bets as the public. Then we look at the percentage of cash, and we kind of think that's more of the sharper bettors, bigger bettors. Bigger bettors don't necessarily equate to sharper bettors, but in this case here, there is a considerable amount of money coming in on this Kansas City Royals team. And what's to note is it's gone from plus 104 to plus 123. Big movement there. Kramer and Waka Waka going out there on the Kansas City Royals side of things here. It's interesting because, again, first glance, and you look at Kramer, stinks. He's got a 7.04 ERA. I mean, what is going on with this dude? And, look, it's not looking pretty. Baltimore, inconsistency at best. Last year, everybody loved these Baltimore Orioles, and this year, certainly not the stellar start that they wanted for the season here. But, certainly the bat's got to come to life. I did see a lot of folks talking about Gundog Henderson making it happen tonight. But in 6 starts, just 2 and 4. Thing is, despite the 7 ERA, it's like just a couple of blips on the radar. He's averaging 4 Ks a game. Letting up a lot of runs. He's not getting the run support, but he's gone 30.2 innings over 6 games. That's 5. It's not out of the realm to believe that he should be able to bounce back and find a way to bring that 7 ERA down. We're getting to that point of the season, too, where you kind of look at, guys are who they are. They'll play to the back of their baseball cards, right? And in this case here, is he a 7? I don't think so. I'm going to suspect that he is not. I got a unique one, though. How about this one? Home team. Not more than 4 games in a row. That won a game 5-4. Apparently it happens a lot. And those teams are 50 and 26. They're 8 and 2 in their last 10. Those are the Baltimore Orioles. And that'll be the first play. Gonna lay some juice. Gonna lay it down there. Bottom line is it's minus 140. And yeah, it's a little pricier than I'd prefer. But with such a strong trend, I'll lay a little bit of extra juice. We made a really concerted effort last night not to lay too much vig. I mean, I think we had one minus 130, but everything else was like even money or plus money spots. I'm okay with a little bit of a minus 140 tonight. I'm not, I just want the win. I don't want the push. This is one of those spots where I believe there's something going on behind the scenes. I do think it's a bounce back opportunity for Kramer. And look, Kansas City bats can get just as cold at any given time. If you look at their recent performances, what they've kind of gone through and how they've managed their schedule, 4 of their last 5 games have been wins. They opened up as a dog. They're getting slammed, and they're becoming a wider dog. I'm good with it. 8-2 is that last game at Tampa Bay. That was a very hitter-friendly ballpark, though, Steinbrenner Field down there in Tampa as they're working on their new stadium. Not for me. Not for me with these Kansas City Royals. Something seems off. Something seems a little bit off. That's all I'm going to say when it comes down to it. Let's go. That's going to be the first play of the day. Let's keep her moving. Let's keep this show on the road. Good time. Got a guy coming in here in about 10 minutes. We want to hear where the liability is on these books. Quickly becoming my favorite segment. Love having guests on, especially guys that have an insight behind the counter, telling us how they're setting these lines, where they're concerned about the action, and all the rest that goes into it. I'm not concerned about this action here. The Cleveland Guardians, the Toronto Blue Jays, Cleveland playing them Twinkies. We talked about this Minnesota Twins team, and you'll keep it in mind. We'll watch this as the season progresses. They win a bunch of games, then they lose a bunch of games. They just can't. They're just inconsistent at best. A favorite to win that AL Central somehow. I don't know who knows what, but the Minnesota Twins are the favorite to come out of that conference. Maybe it's because there's just such mediocrity and parity. Bunch of average bums. Cleveland Guardians, though, now moving north of the border, travel day for them, no rest. Taking on this Toronto Blue Jays team. This line opened up at minus 146. It's sitting at minus 159 on the Blue Jays. 66% of the cash. 66% of the bets, 83% of the cash coming in on these Jays. Somebody know something? 94% of the bets and 94% of the cash coming in on this over. Yet we're sitting at 8.5. No movement. And what's interesting is with all that money, a 9 is a key number in baseball. We haven't seen it crush. We haven't seen it touch that 9. So you got to wonder what the hell's going on here. Jays have played well at home, 10-6. The Guardians, just 7-8 on the road. Not sure. Oh. Okay. I see that message. Looking at this one, though. Getting down to the brass tacks of this thing here. Bassett. Allen starting off for the Guardians with a 4.21 ERA. Bassett, 2.62. Probably an uncharacteristic start to the season for Bassett. I mean, he's not a bum by any stretch. And he's not playing like that for sure this year. In fact, look, 2.62 ERA. 6 outings. 6 starts for this guy. The thing is, too, we looked at this last night. We talked a little bit about some of these pitcher ratios. This guy has got a 4.9% walk rate. Impressive, to say the least. Then on top of that, look, had a mediocre middle, found a way back here, had a couple shit starts in there, some 4-run back-to-backers. But look, he loves playing at home. He's only allowed 1 run over 11 home innings. One single run. And you got this Cleveland team that, to say the least, can struggle against right-handies. Over the last week, they're just a 2.91 OBA. That's good enough to rank 26th in Major League Baseball. That's bad. That is bad. They are suspect. They did find some runs in that Minnesota Twins series, but at the same time, look, when their bats go cold, they do go cold. Logan Allen on the other side of things, 4.21 ERA for this guy. Two struggling matchups. 7 runs against that Boston Red Sox team. Nasty Nate's Red Sox smashed Logan Allen the last time they faced. And of course, this Toronto team definitely fires against left-handed pitching. So you do want to look out if you're this Cleveland Guardians team. It's a little pricey for me. Toronto sitting around minus 160s. As I mentioned, the cash moving in on them. I wouldn't be mad at the first 5. I almost made that first 5 minus a half. I thought that was a pretty decent look. But at the end of the day, I went to this total. I think you've got 2 pitchers, both in a situation where they should be bouncing back. They're coming off with some suspect starts. All that cash is coming in on the over. It hasn't moved to that key number of 9. And if we go back to the old sports almanac here, what do we see? Low scores. In fact, AL versus AL. if they won off of extra innings in a low-scoring game, 9-1 to the under in its last 10, 137-80. That thing's won 6 in a row. I'll take the under 8.5. I thought that was a pretty prime look to try to get us paid. Cameron said that's in the house. There's money coming in on my girl, Marina. AOD loves when I am wrecked. Did they rewatch the last 25 minutes? It's must watch. Was it that good? I gotta check it out. Do I gotta go? I don't even remember. You like the Santa Claus starter kit? Yeah, man, it's playoff beard time. With playoff beard season here. Let's go. Let's go. All right, guys, I got a 21-0 trend for you guys here right now. Get ready and let's fucking fire on this thing here. Miami and Oakland. Lots of love here. Sharp respected bettors coming in, taking this Oakland Athletics team. I told you I'm not going to get involved in this athletic side in the favorite spot. Now, maybe every so often, but not around minus 140s. And here's the thing, despite that respected action coming in, they've gone from minus 140 to minus 127. Was it me that said fuck you, Nasty Nate? I don't remember. The play is on Baltimore Silent Rob. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you rocking with us. I don't know. Was it me? Did I say that? Did I really say that? Doesn't sound like something I would say. All right. As we look at this game and we dig into this thing, again, 64% of the bets, 72% of the cash. But the line's coming down. What is going on? A 15-cent move there. Almost, I think it's 14-cent move in actuality. This line started at 9. The back number has moved to 9.5. 94% of the bets, 94% of the cash have moved this number from 9 to 9.5. 9.5 at even money, mind you. 9.5 at even money. As you look down the lines, you know, hog hunt for the Oakland Athletics. Okay. And then you got Belozo on the other side for the Miami Marlins. I just don't know if I could get there with this Oakland Athletics side. I mean, again, I saw some big numbers that supported this Oakland Athletics team. And maybe it's because I'm sour on that multi-leg parlay that I lost the other day with the Texas. I think it was Texas, right? Texas played Oakland that last series. And yeah. And then what happens? They go out there and fire off a 6 run. I think it was in the 8th or 9th inning there. Just crushed my heart and soul. They have been winning, though. Look, they've won 4 of their last 5 games. Notable, including a big favorite. Now, some of that was the White Sox, so let's not get too excited and crown these guys, Major League Baseball champions. But for me, at the end, push comes to shove, I took the total. I got a Jover in me here. I got a little over action. Here's the 21-0 trend for you guys. And it's not just 21-0. It's the margin of over 3 runs a game. When these games start before 7:20 p.m., the Marlins coming home after a road game, they find a way. 21-0 to the over, 3.3 runs per game. That's going to get that cash for us there. I'm going to take the over. Someone, Nasty Nate says, someone must have said something about your beard and you remembered that comment and said, That sounds about right. Now now it's in context. That makes a little bit more sense to me. Let's go. Let's keep it rolling here. I'm going to give you guys this 3-leg parlay. I've got action on here. Detroit, the Yankees, and San Francisco firing. Pretty straightforward. Look, I didn't want to lay the -1s. I do expect these teams to crank. The thing with the Yankees is, you look at Pepio and Pepio rolling into Yankee Stadium, not the finest. In fact, he kind of stinks on the road. 8 home runs in his last 5 starts for Pepio. I was high on this guy to start the year, but 5.27 FIP, man, that's not going to cut it. And look, I mentioned this before. Pepio, when he gets out there against the Yankees offense, plays well at home, does not play so well when it comes to being on the road out there. And I think that's where he's going to struggle. I think this is where the problem's going to certainly come into play for this guy. The Yankees can figure it out. They're certainly capable of going out there and sticking, especially with Max Fried on the bump. He's been dominant with a 1.19 ERA to kick this season off. So Yankees are leg number 1. We're going to roll to leg number 2 in this Detroit Tigers side of things here. Really, when it comes down to the Tigers, it's more of a play against the Angels right now. Same reason we talked about yesterday, the lefty-righty situation. Their bats are ice cold right now. I do like Sirianni as a pitcher, but it's Scooble. You got to fire off with Scooble. That's the guy. He's going to be the one that finds the victory for us there. And the third leg being San Francisco. I'm going to run right back to them. Now they've lost 3 games in a row. something's going on. Something's a little fishy and suspect in that lineup, but I do think they can find a way to bounce back tonight. Just straightforward. No -1s, no run lines, no first fives. Just give me the full game on all three. We'll parlay them together, and it's going to be a 187. 187 on their asses out there. 9-5 for the Giants at home. The Rockies just 2-14 on the road. They are bad. They are that team. They are that bad. That's the way we're going to fire it there. Let's keep her going. Let's keep, oh, this is empty. That is empty. Let's go Winnipeg Jets, St. Louis Blues. NHL action. 2 games left on my card here. Only one spot, the Island game for the NHL tonight. We talked about this. Connor Hellebuck, Jordan Binnington. You know, surprise, surprise. The President's Cup team in the playoffs, but not a slam dunk. They are winning the series 3-2. No question about that. Jordan Binnington played like shit the last game. No question about that. 4 goals on 25 shots was an 84% save percentage. It equaled a loss. It was a 5-3 L that those guys took. But they're coming back home. The St. Louis Blues team. Impressive what they've been doing here in this series at home. That's where they're catching their dubs. And the impressive thing I saw with the St. Louis Blues is over 2.5 goals. What, every game this series? So a team that traditionally plays to the unders at their home rink are fighting the back of the net. I like that momentum. I also like to fade this President's Cup team, but the thing I'm looking at here is, I haven't even heard much about this, but Mark Scheffele out of the lineup tonight. A big contributor for the Winnipeg Jets, and yet this guy is out of this lineup. That is a concern. That is suspect. I don't know if I would want to get behind that here, especially. And now you could argue the star player theory is out. I get it. Makes a lot of sense. But, you know, bottom line, you're favored for a reason. When you got a 6 or less, you're at home and you're the favorite, you're 145-64. Comfortable margin, 1.1 goals per game. But this is like a -110 spot. You don't even have to take much big on this thing. Just expect these boys not to get shut down and go night-night. -110 for the St. Louis Blues to go out there, take down an injury-riddled lineup here with this Winnipeg Jets. And again, Connor Hellebuck has not been playing his finest hockey of the postseason. So lots of reason for me to want to get involved on this St. Louis Blues side of things. Is it a coin flippy situation? Yeah, I guess to some degree, but we've got a strong trend showing the home favorite as a reason. Backs against the wall. I don't think this series goes away just yet. I think this one sees a 7. Much like I said that with the Colorado series. Colorado got the W for us. I think we see a similar situation. That's the way I want to get after it. Spoon Bets loves the Athletics. Redbeard's using FanDuel now. J-Main took the over in that Miami game. You know, Trisha M likes that team total Miami over spot. Let's go. Ricky Levine, Trisha M. Who do you like for the Derby? Luxor Cafe at 15-1 for our guy. Let's go. Peter Gracia says, like the first 3. Oh, period 3. Let's get it. Let's get it, he says. Let's go. Last game. We'll bring our guy in here, and we will put a bow on this show. Everybody can get into weekend mode. Houston Rockets, Golden State Warriors. Man, what a battle we have. We look at this spot here. Yeah, Houston somehow hanging on to life. Now, we didn't get that first five. I got baseball mode still. We got the first half in that Houston spot the other day. At home, we know the Houston Rockets are a wagon. 57% of the bets, 59% of the cash have come in on the Rockets. It's not moving. Has not budged. If anything, it's going down in some spots. So interesting scenario there. 204.5 to a 208.5 with 96% of the bets and 97% of the cash. Hammering in on this over. You know, I mentioned it the last game out there. Houston found a way to, they found a way to put the boot to ass. 131-116. Granted, they were at home. But Golden State coming back, shoes on the other foot now. Not a ton of historical opportunities here, other than just a simple put, the home favorite, when they lead a playoff series 3-2, are 7-14 against the spread. They're 11-10 straight up. Now, both these teams profile to an over. There's a lot of look for over in this action here. The Warriors, 6 straight overs. Last game went over by at least 20 points. They love to keep it running. No defense. Defense be damned. And the Rockets find themselves 10-0 to the over. After a win by less than 25 points. They like to go over in those spots too. So close games, defense be damned. They throw the book out the window and they just go out there and they gun. And you got 11-10 straight up, 7-14 trend spot for this Houston Rockets team. I'm going to take a shot. I'm going to take the points. I think it's too many points. I'm going to feel pretty damn comfortable taking a ride on this thing here. And that's the way I'm going to opt to close out that Houston Rockets Golden State series. I see our guys backstage. So let's not delay our man. His time is very much appreciated. We're going to set this up. I'm going to get the screen rolling. Let me put this on there. Let me throw this. Oh, the wrong way. Let me see if we can do this here. And let's bring our guy. Welcome to the show, our friend out there at the Superbook, Andrew Babakitis. Andrew, happy Friday, my friend. How are you?
Good, man. How are you?
TGIF, brother. The weather's getting nice in the Northeast here, and starting to get outdoors a little bit more. Get a little sun in the cheeks today. It's all good.
A lot of the games are rained out for the baseball, so I know on the East Coast there's a lot of bad weather right now. I know we had to delay the horse race too. Big horse bettors in the book today. It's just an exciting time. Yesterday was electric in the book with all the hockey and the playoff basketball game. So this is a fun time being back here and getting to watch all the people sweating out their bets in the book. So yeah, it's a good time.
Quite a bit of you mentioned it. I mean, actually, the card was loaded yesterday. There was all kinds of things. There was PFL out there as well. Did you guys get much PFL action?
No, we actually we don't book the PFL any longer unless it's like massive fights. Yeah, we kind of downed the trend on that because it wasn't really warranting the work with the handle load. And I think I mentioned it last week when I came on. Everything we do in this system is manual. So with our team, we're just trying to be most efficient with, what's writing and warrants the most handle. And sadly, as much as I love fighting, we had to kind of can some of those fights. But yeah, I was watching and betting, but we didn't actually book that yesterday.
A lot of vary by book too. I mean, I noticed being up here in New York that prelim stuff you can barely get lines on the action if they have it at all, and then they'll try to focus a little bit more on the main card, but very limited options when that comes down to it. But not with the UFC, not what we love the most out there. We got a nice card coming up on Saturday.
We're dialed in on getting more of the markets up for the UFC fights. So fight all the method of victories, the exact rounds, fight to go the distance, like trying to get as many options for the UFC fights because, people have a lot more opinions on that stuff than the PFL. Even though, like I said, I would love to talk PFL. I mean, I love fighting, so I watch all the fights regardless. So, yeah, this is a pretty solid card, though, this week in Iowa. A nice free card before a pay-per-view next week.
Yeah.
So yeah, if we want to just get started on UFC, I can go kind of start lower in the card and work my way up. And then if you have any questions, just feel free to stop me between any of the fights. But I'll just kind of give a rundown of what we've seen so far on some of the fights.
Well, you have the keys to the car, my friend. Feel free to drive this thing wherever you want to go.
Okay, right on. So I'll start lower on the card with the ladies fight with Jillian Robertson and Marina Rodriguez. That price opened up minus 260 on Jillian Robertson. We got as high as 350. And at that point, when we were up in the $3 range, we did get some significant action on Marina Rodriguez, some big time plus money action, a few, large 5-figure bets. So that, shifted the line for us a lot. We're sitting now minus 240 on Jillian Robertson, and we do have a pretty big sized decision on that one where we're looking to need, we do need Jillian Robertson right now. Then we actually did take another sharp bet today on the Becca. I'm gonna try to say his name right. Asmat versus the Loader fight.
Okay.
Yeah, we took a sharp bet this morning on Loader at plus 320. That price moves pretty significantly as well. You can still get above 250 if you're looking to bet on the dog. But yeah, that was something that was pretty noticeable today. And something that I'll share with you guys that I've shared on a couple of the other shows is a lot of our sharpest bettors will wait till the day of the fights where they feel like they're getting, the highest point of, because a lot of the time these big money line prices get juiced up during the week, right? Like the public is betting the favorites and they're getting thrown into every parlay. And then a lot of times the day of, the sharp guys will come in and they believe, this is the highest point that plus money is going to be. So we still anticipate some of these fights, getting some big time sharp action. But I'll say this week in comparison to some others is not there's not as much sharp action. But I have a couple more for you. Up in the card a little bit, the City versus Smotherland fight. I'd say this is the fight where we have the most respected action on. We took 2 significant sharp plays on Smotherland, so we're looking to kind of do a little reverse of where we're at right now on the action. We're trying to write a couple bets on City. So if you're looking to get some action on that City side, you're not going to find a better number than what we're hanging right now currently. Let me let you guys know how much that price has moved. That one has been a big mover on the card. Yeah, so we opened minus 160 on City. It got as high as 180, and now we're currently sitting minus 125. So that's been a big mover. Yeah, big mover on that one. I actually got a couple more. So, and then we'll go up to D-Rod versus Ponzinibbio. We did take some early action on Ponzinibbio. He actually opened up the underdog. The price flipped. He then became the favorite. And then when he became the favorite at that minus 130, minus 140 range, we have done some big action on D-Rod. So this one's been a easy one to book, just based off of the price not moving too much and kind of strong opinions on both sides of that fight. And following Twitter and stuff, I have seen a lot of people that, I follow and I respect have opinions on both sides. They're not all lined up on, the same side this week for that fight. And then my favorite fighter on the card, we'll talk about him a little bit, the Bo Nickel fight, which obviously I'm rooting for my guy, Bo Nickel.
Sure.
This is our first time that we've gotten a competitive price in a Bo Nickel fight. It seems like, from what I remember, every fight closed like above $10. And this fight we actually opened in the $2 range. It has gone Bo Nickel's way, but it opened up 280. We're currently sitting 340. So there has been some action backing Bo Nickel early. But I will say this is the first guy I can remember that people are betting the opponent. So even against Paul Craig, he didn't look super impressive, but we weren't getting a lot of Paul Craig action in that fight. And there's a lot of people who maybe weren't impressed with his last outing, and they're betting De Ritter this time around. So that's the fight I'm looking most forward to. We could talk about the main event a little too. We'll end it there with the Corey Sandhagen versus Davison Figueiredo. Not a ton of action, if I'm being completely honest, for a main event. We opened this one, Sandhagen, $4. It got as high as $5.50. There's been a couple biters on that Figueiredo side, but nothing too respected or too big, honestly. The most respected bet we took on that fight was an over bet. But nothing too crazy with that one. And understandably when the price is $5. So.
Yeah, I always find that when I get that big price tag like that, I'm, either I'm off of it, or in this case being a main event, I'll try to coordinate with, find a profit that's going to pay a little bit of juice on there. So give me something to take some of that vig down a little bit. Stinks.
Like a method of victory, you're saying?
Sure. Yep.
Yeah.
Give me, I don't like to mess around with the Browns too much, but I'll take, method of victory, or if I, 5-round fights give a little more latitude to which round it might end and if it's going to end early, right?
Right, for sure. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. But they've been good about, the main events over the last couple of months have all been pretty close prices. So, nothing to complain about. I still think this will be a good fight. It just, from a booking perspective, it's not the most exciting to, talk about.
It's funny because the Bo Nickel side of things, I hear what you're saying about the DeRuyter thing here, thinking if you look at his recent performances, it's not as commanding and as dominant as it has as he started off his career. Right? He came out on fire. He was finishing guys really fast, first round finishes. And as he's progressed, it's almost like he's changing form a little bit. Like he's trying to work more on, striking, I guess, right? He's trying to kind of, change and balance his game out from just being the wrestler, which phenomenal all the way back to his Penn State days. But it almost seems like now he wants to change tactics.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand not wanting to mess around on the ground with Paul Craig. I mean, to me, I can't really think of I mean, don't quote me on this, but I can't really think of a worse matchup on the ground than Paul Craig for anybody. I mean,
Yeah,
he's submitted some of the best guys. Like he submitted what Ankalaev, Jamal Hill. Like he's beaten some of the best guys. He's also lost to a lot of guys, but
sure.
Bo Nickel is so raw in the sport that I can understand why he did that. But I mean, you're definitely right. That was not the prettiest performance of his for sure.
Hey, I wanted to ask you. You mentioned last week about some questions. I know a couple guys in the chat maybe have some comments here, some questions as well. Talk to me about live betting. When it comes down to it, we kind of have a divide here. There's a kind of a couple different thought processes around how do these live bets, how does that number get set? Is it computer driven algorithm? Is it something where you're respecting the action that's coming in live? And then I guess the second part of that question is there guys behind in the back room that are judging these games and judging these fights and managing a scorecard that helps set the number? What's that methodology look like when you guys set a live line?
Right. So I mean, it's probably a lot different for every book, right? Like I mentioned before, our book is mainly manual moves. So we do some in games for like the NFL and like the big games, like tonight's game. We'll have live in games. So if anybody wants to come up to the window, there's actually a trader in the back, putting a lineup between timeouts and stuff. But then there's another system that we have that is all computer driven. But then we have our traders who also watch the bet ticker just to make sure everything's running properly. Nothing. Sometimes there will be issues with third party programs, and it's kind of just keeping up with keeping up with the bet ticker. And you can tell just based off of common knowledge when something is wrong because you'll just see the screen light up with everyone betting the same thing. But completely off the topic, since we're talking UFC right now, I do think that I've said this to a couple of the guys in the back. I think that the UFC's live stuff it's so wonky because you just never know what the judges are thinking, right? Like
Yeah.
I've seen some fights close minus 2,000, minus 3,000, and then they give the decision to the other guy, and it's just like, how do you? I mean, it's impossible to put a price on that. So I don't know. I know most of the. I have friends who work at DraftKings and FanDuel, and they've told me that they always have people overseeing the live markets, and if they notice something, they're always adjusting. So, like I said, it's honestly different everywhere for sure.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. I mean, we've seen that a couple of times. There's a very particular gentleman with a first name of Sal that loves to find a way to be a disruptor when it comes to my bankroll and judges decisions.
Oh man, some of his decisions, I don't know. I've watched the UFC for a long time, and I feel like over the last year, I can remember some of these decisions. These are like some of the worst I feel like I've ever seen. But maybe it's just because it's so fresh. But there's been some terrible decisions lately, and I feel like they're trying to make that adjustment to where they are not giving people as much points or credit when they're just holding somebody down or holding them against the cage. They're just strictly based off of if there's a cut from a punch and then you get held down for 4 minutes, they're going to give it to the guy who gave more damage, right?
Sure.
I feel like control is a lot less important than it used to be.
Well, it almost seems like it's like the angle of the sport, right? Nobody wants to watch these guys just kind of lay and pray. They want to see some violence. They want to see combat. And that's the general public.
I get that perspective, but it makes it hard to book when it's just wanting the exciting fighters to win. It's a tough sport to win in for sure.
What do you find when it comes to? I see a question from our guy Stop Geoengineering in the chat here talking about boosts, and I don't know whether it be from you guys or any of your friends in the industry that work for some of the other books that you had mentioned. What's the methodology around setting a boost? We kind of feel like from the betting side of the house, if there's a boost being offered, we don't want to be involved with it because it seems like it's prepackaged and it's just waiting to take the L. Is there some methodology that's triggering where a boost is? It trying to draw action back on the other side?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I can give you my insight from when. So I don't know if what your background is or what your knowledge is with the Superbook, but Superbook did expanding, and I think we were in 9 different states at at one point, and then they pulled the plug on all those additional states and just went back to only Nevada. So at that time when we were in a different system in all those other states, we were super focused in on like doing those odds boosts because I mean those things write so much handle. But from my perspective, what I did when I was coordinating those and doing the UFC and the NFL ones, everything I'm pretty much putting out there, one, it's either somebody who's really, really popular, like whatever, a Patty Pimblett boost. But mostly the stuff I'm putting out there is the opposite side of the sharp action because I'm just trying to help the book win money. So I would assume that's what other people are doing, but for sure, like me and Clint do a show. I don't know if you guys follow diehard MMA, but he's a really good guy. And yeah, I go on his show and talk about the fights all the time. And the big guy, whenever he would bet something, I would just boost the opposite side of what he liked. And you know, over time, it's going to be profitable. I mean, we're tracking these players for a decade, so we have a lot of good information on some of these players. They're not going to win everything, but we know we'll come out over the long run if we're boosting the opposite side of that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I think we've found through trial and error over time with these boosts. And it's funny because we'll all kind of talk about it, we'll all kind of laugh about it and be like, uh-oh, that's a spot you don't necessarily want to get involved with. Andrew, I appreciate you taking the time here. One last question for you before we shut things down and get you started on your weekend. Big boxing action tonight. I'm not sure if you have any exposure or thoughts here, but Garcia Romero, Times Square, 9 p.m. It's just a couple of hours away, and it's a huge price tag. So I guess I'm curious. Are you guys seeing any action coming in on the Romero side of things? Is there any liability that kind of jumps out from, or are you guys even taking action on this thing?
No, yeah, we are taking action, and we'll do like the method of victories and stuff for the big boxing fights. Yeah, it looks like we have a decent amount of liability on both of the dogs. So they're taking some small shots on Romero and Ramirez. Nothing too crazy, but I feel like we're sitting in a good spot, needing both of the favorites in these fights. But yeah, man, I don't love boxing as much when they do these big $10 favorites. It's just like it's frustrating. I mean, I hope both these guys win, and then we get to watch Garcia and Haney again. That's what I think that's what we're all looking forward to.
Yeah, that should be a good one. Hey, Trisha M, one of our long timers here, she's asking, any Derby looks? Anything pop out for you from the Derby? Do you get involved on the horse racing side?
While I'm pulling that up, I'll give you something on the NBA too.
Perfect.
So I know a couple of the guys in the back that I really, really respect think that the Warriors are going to take care of business tonight. So we've kind of positioned ourselves to need the Warriors at least on the money line. But they are a popular bet today as well. So it seems like that's the public side. But I know a couple of the guys that I really respect in the back also like that side.
Okay. That's good. That's good intel. I was thinking there's too many points. It just felt like that 5.5's a tough number in a spot where you don't see it. There's not a significant enough sample or track record that shows Golden State should mop the floor with these guys. It just seems like it should be a tight game. And that being said, if Curry wants to go be Curry again, then that game could be over in the snap of a finger.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, I mean, with that game, it feels like Golden State is not going to want to go back to Houston for a game 7. Like that's such a simple way to look at it, but it does mean a lot. I mean, those guys, they're an older team. I feel like you can already see they're not the deepest roster, but you can see they're kind of a little gassed. I feel like they're going to do everything they can to get out of there today. But yeah, I pulled up the Derby stuff. I'll just give you our biggest liabilities. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I don't really know much about the horse stuff. But I'll tell you the horses we're rooting against. We're not going to want to see Sandman win. He's one of the short odds favorites. We have a decent amount of liability on him. And then Cold Battle, that's another guy or another horse that we certainly don't want to win. He's sitting at 20-1. Sandman's sitting at 5-1. Pretty much everybody else that has Baeza, we are a loser on as well. But if all the short odds, it looks like we're in a decent position on, like the plus 350s and stuff. But the biggest liability looks like it's Cold Battle.
Good to know. Good to know. Great insight from our guy, Andrew Batakidis, down there at the Superbook. Andrew, tell them what's cooking this weekend. What do you guys got going on? Tell them where they can find you and everything else that's happening in the world of the Superbook.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a little bit more active and give some more content out there on X. So if you haven't followed me, yeah, feel free. And if you have any questions, you can always hit me up in the messaging area of X. And yeah, I'm always open to putting up fights early or getting extra content up on our website. But yeah, if you're in Vegas, this is a book. I'm telling you, you're getting a competitive price here if you are looking to add an extra book. And there's probably not a better place to watch the games than here. I mean, maybe Circa, but yeah, if you're in town, come say hi.
Tremendous. Sorry I'm having a little internet difficulty here as we close her up, but there we go. Just as I said it, the internet is shutting down. Let's put the bow on the show, my friend. Have a great weekend. Thank you for your time. And thank you guys all for being in the chat here tonight. Make sure you smash that thumbs up. Follow my guy. I got his info on the screen here at ababakias24 on X. Great dude. We love having you as a part of the segment. Thank you so much for your time, your effort, and your honesty and transparency with what's happening in these books. And we'll see you soon, my friend.
Absolutely. Talk again soon.
Thank you guys all. Have a great weekend on behalf of Sports Money. We'll see you guys soon.